Hello and welcome to Kuddick Farms. We're back with another episode of Edgewater, Saskatchewan, and we've just finished refueling our combine here. I still haven't gotten in there and made any adjustments to it, so it's using a lot of fuel here. That's all right. We've got a bit left in the old Ford here, so let's go ahead and hop in this 9610. We're gonna be taking this out and picking up the wheat that we've got. I've been shuffling some stuff around in the yard, however, obviously not quite enough stuff to get our combine through here. This conveyal is just way too big for our setup here. Unfortunately, I don't have a shorter auger that'll go into the top bins here. This little Meridian unloader is a different style auger. I don't think it's going to work for us going into the top of these bins. And so at some point here, I need to find myself a little bit shorter of a primary auger. So I'm just going to move this off to the side, get it out of my way. And we're going to be heading out to pick up the wheat that we swathed in the previous episode here. And instead of trying to run over our canola like I did in the previous episode, we are going to actually drive this thing out to the field entrance the correct way. And I might even set up an auto drive course while we're at it to make sure that we can send other equipment up that way. In the future, we're going to need to get our grain cart up there at a minimum. I don't think we're going to get a ton of wheat off of that field, although I expect higher volumes than we had when we were harvesting the lentils for sure. Those were not very voluminous, but they're going to be worth quite a bit. So let's go ahead and turn on our auto drive. Oh my gosh, we haven't used auto drive since we had to reset the game. And our auto drive courses are gone. So I guess we don't have an auto drive course to use to add on to. And since we're already so far away from the farm here, we are going to just pass on that for today, I think. Very unfortunate. We're still suffering a little bit from the leftovers of having to rebuild our PC a week ago. Finding a few things here and there that are still missing. We'll jump in cab here as we make our way over here to the field entrance. One of the things that I probably commented on in the past, but I'm just noticing again right now, is we've got the beep sound for the blinkers. It's pretty quiet. I don't know if you can hear that, but man, does that bring back memories. Good times, good times. All right, here we are at the field entrance. Now, we don't have a GPS course of any kind for this, so I will be doing all of our picking up here manually, which is A-okay with me. This field is not that big, and I just want to see if I've got my straw swath on or off. I don't know. I can't really tell here, to be honest, so I guess I am going to have to jump out of the combine for a minute. I would expect to get some straw out of our wheat here. Let's push that button and switch it. There we go. Now we're dropping a swath just like I'd like. Good deal. And unlike the normal harvesters where it's really hard to go in cab, this is actually quite easy to jump in cab and follow our swath here. I'm not actually sure what it would normally be called. I'm assuming it'd be called a swath. I'm not familiar with the terminology as much when you're using a pickup head like this to gather swathed crops. So we're just going to make it up as we go, folks. However, you can see we're at 11% wheat already, which is actually not doing too bad. We're getting a pretty good yield off of this field, considering that we didn't have much nitrogen on it at all. And so that's encouraging. We will get at least one grain cart of wheat out of this field, I expect. I think a typical grain cart is about 2 hopperfuls on this combine. So we'll see. And we've got the little bits of grass and stuff here that we dumped when we were starting to swath. Hopefully that doesn't cause us any problems with the pickup head here as we're getting the wheat. The little tiny bits here and there aren't a big deal. I'll be curious to see what happens as we run through this slightly larger strip of grass right over here. It's definitely going through the combine. And there was a small pause in our bushels as we climbed up. If we jump out here, yeah, just spit it right back out the back. That's fine with me. All right, well, I think this is going to actually work out pretty well for us, and we're going to have a fair amount of straw after this is all said and done that we're going to be able to harvest up here, or bale up here, I should say. And I've already got a great idea of what baler I want to tackle that job with, so I can't wait to get into baling all of this up as well. I think what we might do is we'll try and finish up the actual harvest on this field, and then while I have Courseplay swath the next field of canola in the coming month, we'll pick up the straw with the baler on our own. We'll actually run that job manually. This isn't that big of a field. It'll be kind of fun, and I'm already at 48% wheat in the hopper. I don't know if I'm going to make it all the way around this field now. I was kind of thinking I'd be able to make one round on the field and then go get the grain cart and bring it up here, but we might not even make it that far. I suppose I could turn off the blinkers now. I'm like, what is the beeping behind me? It is the blinkers still going. We jump out of cab here and just kind of take a look. The hopper is filling up nicely, and I'm trying to keep my curves somewhat gradual here to make picking this all up with the baler a little bit easier. No sudden movements so that we don't have quite the sharp turns with the baler. It's a little bit easier if we can just keep moving with it. I think this time we did round bales last time. I think this time I'm going to try a square baler. See if I can find one that'll hook up to our white tractor here. The tractor is not the most powerful, and if I'm not mistaken, square balers tend to take a little bit more power at the PTO to run. So we'll have to play around with that. Like I said, I've got one in mind. I don't want to ruin the surprise. I'm not sure if that's going to make it into this video or the next. We'll have to see how long the harvest here takes on this wheat field. And we're at 75%. Man, this is going to be close. I might just make it around and heading back up here towards the driveway. That'd be my goal, is to at least make it around the end of the field down here. But we'll see, we'll see. Believe it or not, I actually find it easier to drive this setup in cab compared to most of the time. I prefer more of an out-of-cab view when I'm going through the fields here. But this is actually quite relaxing with the pickup head completely in view. I find it quite a bit easier to know what I'm picking up and where I'm going. And we've made it around the end of the field there like I was hoping. And we're at 95% and climbing. I don't think I'll make it to the end of the field here, but we'll be pretty close. I'm going to go ahead and start putting the pipe out here, and we're going to crowd to my right-hand side in hopes that the grain cart can get in here. Actually, maybe I should center out. Whoa! We weren't paying attention. I'm going to back it up a little bit here. We were hoping to get the auger in such a situation that the grain cart's going to be able to get under here without driving over the swath. Looks like if I straddle the swath, I'll be all right. So long as we're heading up there, I'm going to go ahead and record a path here. I know we're starting kind of halfway, but that's all right. We'll get it started, and let's just follow along the side here. We've got nice flat ditches here, so if I'm running with bigger equipment, I don't mind if it bleeds off the side of the road a little bit. And I think just hugging over on the right-hand side of this is going to be the smartest choice for farm equipment, especially coming back this way where most of the time we'll be bringing something like the combine or the grain carts here back to a field. These cars are so impatient though. And I'll just pull right on in here and create a field 51 marker. Bada boom, bada bing. And let's see if I can hop over these swaths, and we'll head on down here and unload the combine. I think generally I want to drive on our crops as little as possible, but the way things line up, I think I need to be in the swath here. Get the combine all fired up here. we'll go ahead and get this unloaded. I'm not going to try and unload on the go. I might have Follow Me installed on here, but I think that might be asking just a little bit much today. And with everything unloaded, we are good to go. So let's get back into the combining here. We're going to have a blast with this field, so I should be able to take the second pass around in this field, I think, since the outside headland is the largest headland. I think going around on the inside headland, I should, in theory, be able to make it all the way around the field. Although we're picking up this stuff here, we're already at 6%, so that's something to consider in all that, I suppose. Watch our mirror here so I don't put us into the fence. And off we go. Good deal. I do like the slightly different textures here for the wheat that we need to pick up versus you can see the straw over there, just a little bit different looking. And so I have to say South Saskatchewan and BC Buhler have done a great job on this map, getting all of the different pieces of equipment working here, as well as the map features, the swathing, the fill planes, everything just looks really good. I've been enjoying our playthrough on this map immensely. So we're coming around the back bend here and we're at 75%. So I was right. The inside loop here we were able to knock out a lot quicker, and we've left our grain cart in the most inconvenient of spaces. So let me stop this guy here real quick and we'll get this guy out of the way. We might as well unload as long as I'm sitting here and in the grain cart anyway. We'll get him pulled around and into position. I really hate driving over the crops like this, but I can't really think of a way to help that at the moment. And I was just thinking about it as we were driving up here. Realistically, I would probably be bailing the headland passes here before we went and harvested the up and down rows, just so I'm not sitting here driving on all of the straw the whole time. But I don't think we're going to. I think we are going to just do what we need to do. I think my pipe's coming out. Yeah, it's moving in the mirror there. I think we're just going to keep going on the harvest here because I don't want to rent the baler for too long of a period of time. The leasing costs are going to hurt us quite a bit. And so I'd much rather get it for one day and do the straw off of this field on the same day that we're going to be able to follow up behind the canola fields here and get the straw that's going to come off of those fields. I'm pretty sure canola is going to drop straw swaths. So let's actually, before we go too far here, let me move this guy this time. Oh, he's 100% full too. Let me move this guy out of the way and turn the tractor off here so that he's not going to be causing me stress while we continue around the field here. And so I'm going to put him right up here. Whoa, the brakes are not very good. And then just taking a look at our gauges here, it looks like we're at 31% wheat in the hopper here still, so we didn't quite fit 2 full hoppers into that grain cart like I thought. I guess it's a little bit smaller than I recalled, so we're probably not going to make it all the way around this field again. Not that there's a second headland pass. This was the 2 headland passes, so I think what we'll do is we'll just harvest until we get full. Bringing the semi out here, I guess, is the most logical thing to do next. So I'm going to... I still need to figure out what we're going to do with the dry fertilizer that I've got in the back of that combine. I have not yet been able to sort out how to get that out without, I guess, just dumping it on the ground. We don't really have any great options there. Once I can run the seeder again, I'll be able to unload that directly into our air cart, but until then we're kind of in a fix right now because I think I've got the air cart full of fertilizer. So that's something that we didn't really think through when we bought all of that fertilizer. I thought we were going to use more than we did. I guess I didn't realize that so many of our crops were not going to require nitrogen. I should have done a little bit of research on that first. I think I've got everything down here, so let's zip on down the field here. We'll start cleaning up some of these other rows. We've got some miscellaneous bits and pieces spread out everywhere here, like this bit right here. I'll see if we can turn in down the row and get this wheat. They did fix it. You can no longer pick up the straw swath that you've already dropped down. There used to be a bug where you could continually pick up that straw swath and it would just get bigger and bigger. So that's been resolved now, which is pretty awesome. And I think we'll just try and take out this little section right here. I guess it doesn't really matter what order we do parts of this field in, but I do like to knock out individual pieces at a time so we don't lose track of any of these windrows. I would hate to forget to run a swath of wheat through the combine. I really don't want to have to haul everything back out here again. We are driving over our swath here though, which is something that I really didn't want to do. I suppose I could have just left the header down for that bit and picked it up. It doesn't really matter which direction I'm driving when I swath it, I suppose, or rather when I pick up the swath, but either way, what's done is done. Now, looking at this, I can't remember what we did when we did the flax, but I could probably come out here with a windrower and combine a couple of these piles of straw here, or swaths of straw, I guess you could call them, into a single swath, and that would cut down on the amount of time I'd spend with the baler, but I'd have to run a windrower over it anyway, and I don't think I'd get anything that's wider than 2 of these swaths, so I think we might just run the baler over what we have here and call it good enough. I don't think we're going to try and windrow this into a more combined windrow. I think we're just going to take it as it is. I have to say, for some reason, this has been quite therapeutic. It's a lot easier to pick up these piles and not miss anything now than when you were doing like a normal combine cutting, or when we were swathing it in the first place. So I'm finding this strangely relaxing. We missed just a little bit up here. I'm going to try and pick up as we turn in. And we're only at 66%. I was actually thinking we were going to be a little fuller by now. So I'm going to jump over here and we're going to try and clean up some of this corner bits. Might as well keep going as long as we can until the combine's full. And I swear, I'm looking out in this other field, and when I was driving the combine back up to the house after finishing that field, I don't remember seeing all of those different little patches of, was that our peas or our lentils over there? I think it was our peas. I can't remember now, but that's a lot of missed pieces. I really wish I'd gone around and picked those all up. Well, we've finished out the corner here, and we're still only at 81%. So I guess we might as well just keep going over here and get the rest of this, I feel like we'll be able to finish this field off before the combine's completely filled up. I don't think it would be a smart idea to drive the combine back up to the farm with a full hopper like this, but man, do I wish that I could, because then we would not have to make another trip back out here. Part of me doesn't want to have to even bring the semi out here. We could just drive this and the tractor and grain cart back up to the farm and be all done and ready to switch back over for our canola here, but I don't know. I think maybe we should do things right. We'll bring the semi out here. We'll unload both the grain cart and the combine into it, and that'll be that. Now, I wonder if I could get both of those into the front hopper of the semi. Maybe what we'll do is we'll bring, because the back hopper's still got that fertilizer in it. I keep forgetting about that. Maybe I'll bring just that front trailer out in the semi, and I'll dump the combine out into it first to make sure the combine's empty, and then I'll dump what fits out of the grain cart into it. And if we don't get the grain cart fully empty, that's all right. I can drive the grain cart down the road with a partial load in it, and that won't hurt anything. And that, I think, is going to be the best way to handle all of this. I like it when we have a plan. I think it's going to make everything so much easier. And so here we are hitting 90%, and we've got just a few more feet left, and we are all but done. There's one little bit that I missed both here and in the corner. There we go. We're going to just hit these two little things. I know it's probably not even worth it, but they're sitting there. I saw them. And it was a quarter of a bushel, so why not? All right, now I think we're officially done with this field. So we'll get this back up here to the field entrance, and I'll figure out where and how I want to bring that semi out here. We'll probably just drive it right out into the field. I think that's going to be the easiest thing to do so that we can get turned around here. I'm going to leave this guy sitting right over here. We'll drive the semi right underneath him, and that'll work good. Man, this field is a little bumpy over here. The combine's bouncing. There we go. All right, we're up here at the field. Let's go ahead and see how much we can get into this semi, this small trailer. There we go. I did shut the combine off because it burns through fuel faster than I care to deal with. And I'm going to go ahead and pull this forward and start dumping it way into the back here in the hopes that I can also get this grain cart going into it at the same time. I'm not sure. That might be asking a bit much, but we're about to find out. Oh, no, we've got it. Perfect. And the combine is now done. So let me go ahead and close the arm on this. We'll just park her right over here. And I'm not sure. I think we're going to get all of the grain into the semi, though, which will work out perfectly for us. We back up a little bit here and try and load this trailer evenly. That last 100 bushels is filling it up pretty quick here, it looks like. So I'm not worried that we're going to not get it all in, but it is going to be pretty tight. A lot closer than I thought it was going to be. I'm kind of curious to see what that ends up being. Let's go ahead and get the grain cart all put away over here too. We'll come back up and run these up to the yard in a minute here. I want to get the semi moving. Semi ended up at 94%. Very nice. A little over 800 bushels off of this field. Again, not a ton of volume, but enough to want to put it in a bin and keep it for a while. The canola is really the big one. So what we're going to have to figure out here is what we're going to do with storing these crops. One truckload of crops, not really enough to justify a bin. And I'm backing up here because I realized I wanted to create a way to leave this field point and head back up to the farm. So let's see if I can get myself situated. I'm gonna have to fix these points a little bit. Like this one should probably be a two-way. This one should be a two-way. I'm gonna move it into the center of the driveway, like so. And we're gonna make that a two-way. And we'll just have this kind of curve into that a little bit better. And then if I come out here, now we can start recording from this forwardmost node, like so. And I don't like that angle at all, so we're gonna fix that just a smidge. And here we go, we are off. And we'll get this recorded all the way back up to the farm, and then we'll at least be able to send those other two pieces of equipment back up to the farmyard on their own. I think that's gonna help us out a little bit. And we've got to come back out here to bale anyway. And once we start baling, that means we're gonna have to start picking up those bales and selling them somewhere. And so I know I'm gonna want to automate that path again and get a path going all the way down to the bale sell point. So all of this is well worth my time. And much like the other course, I think we're gonna run this right down the white line here. That way, as I'm moving my wider equipment, hopefully we won't run into oncoming traffic at least. It looks a little bit weird when we're driving the semi off the side of the road like this, but most of our equipment being the larger farm equipment, it's gonna look a lot more sane. And I'd rather go for a functional path than the best looking path at times. And so we'll stay over here on the right hand side. That way, if we are just running trucks, we won't run into each other. If we're running larger equipment, we could still be crashing into each other on these narrower back lane roads, but there's not a lot I can do about that. So let's go ahead and bring this into the driveway. That telephone pole is going to be a problem if we've got a bigger piece of equipment, I'm realizing. That's all right. And when we brought the truck out there in the first place, we created this point in the yard here. So let's go ahead and just hook this up. We've got our basic auto drive course all set up and running now, so we can get things back up in the yard. And like I said, I don't know what to do with this one trailer full of wheat right now, so I'm gonna hold onto it in the truck. We've got a minute to figure it out. I think what I really want to do is probably pick up a gravity wagon or something. I've got 9,000 liters of lentils in here that need to go somewhere else. We might just get a small gravity wagon to toss those in and then put the wheat in the bin. I'm not sure. But let's jump back out here into the field, make sure that all of this works. If I tell this guy I want to go to the farm yard and press play, is he going to be able to figure this out? He's going to fold himself all up, get his flashers going, and off he goes. Awesome. And likewise, we should be able to tell the grain cart driver here we want to do the very same thing. In hindsight, probably could have sent the grain cart driver ahead. He's a little bit faster, but that's all right. We'll get him heading up here as well. And hopefully these guys make it up to the farm here without any issues. And hopefully you've enjoyed today's episode. If you have, drop a like, helps me out a lot. And we'll catch you next time for some canola swathing. That's all for today. Kedrick out. We're probably a little close to these signs. I know they're going to get taken out at some point, but that's all right. Oh, speaking of, there it is.